Alright everybody, welcome to this Grim tutorial where you'll find out everything you need to know to get going immediately in Grim as fast as possible so that you can just stop playing the game on the next wipe if you've just picked it up. Do me a quick favor first, if you find this video helpful, drop a like, a comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified about my content in the future. Alright, let's get going. First things first, when you select the server, you're going to drop into Grim. It's going to drop you in, it's not going to say a goddamn thing to you. So what do you do to get started? First, you're going to press the A button on your right controller. It's going to bring up your tool belt. This is where you're going to keep all your quick action items. You're going to grab the item you want, in this case your rock, and then you're going to release the A button, and then you're going to hold this rock. Now you might be thinking, okay, yeah, I understand this. I get this from Rust. I'll just slam it against the tree to get wood. No, you need to two-hand this bad boy to be able to use your rock. Then you're going to hit the trees or those piles of wood to get some wood. And you want to time it slowly, because if you hit it too fast, if you try to do this, it's not going to work. You gotta really find that rhythm, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, like that. Okay, the second thing you're probably going to look for is this rock. They're gray, they look like rocks, and you're going to smash them just like the wood. Alright, now that you've harvested some wood and you've chipped off a few pieces of stone, you're going to put your rock away by putting it over your shoulder and releasing the grip button. Sometimes it's a little finicky. I totally did that on purpose as an example. You're going to put it over your shoulder and you're going to release the grip button. You're going to put it over your shoulder and you're going to release the grip button. Alright, and if you do it correctly, you'll see a little indicator and a little noise saying that it went into your inventory. It can be finicky sometimes, so just give it a couple times, you'll figure it out. Now that we have some wood and we have some stone, we can get to crafting, and to do that, you press B on your right controller to open up your inventory. Now, this is your inventory. It'll show you your oxygen in the top left. This is your person. This is where you will put a spacesuit if you ever find one of those. We'll get to that later. It's not important right now. In the top right, you got your map. You can open it up, take a look at the map, figure out where you are, where you want to go. There's also your mic toggle if you want to toggle it on and off, and your settings. To get to crafting, you're going to go to the right side of the screen where, you guessed it, it says crafting. Initially, you have a very limited amount of options because you need a workbench, you need to research blueprints, etc., etc., etc. to make bigger and better things. But right now, we're just going to make a stone pickaxe and a stone hatchet, and we're going to wait for this to craft. And once it's crafted, it should go into my tool belt if I have any tool belt slots open. So now that we have our stone pickaxe, we can hold this with one hand because it's a little baby boy, and we can start harvesting rock or metal or sulfur a little bit faster and a little bit more efficient. You can see that the number is a little bit higher than when I was hitting it with the stone. Alright, and with your hatchet, you're going to come over to any wood source and harvest some wood. Now that we have our pickaxe and our hatchet, we've got a lot more resources to work with now. Now, we're going to build our base. So to build our base, we're going to open up our inventory again. We're going to go to crafting, and we're going to make a building plan. And if you got enough wood, let's just make a hammer, just so that we have it. When your building plan is ready, you're going to ensure that it's on your tool belt. Now that we have our building plan, we're going to open up our tool belt, we're going to hold it with both hands, and we're going to pull the trigger on the right hand, and that's going to bring up pieces of our base that we can build with. Now, I'm not going to go over base design and the best bases to build or whatnot, because that's not what this is. This is a very simple tutorial to get you started as soon as possible. So we're going to put down a foundation, and to do this, you're going to take your right controller, and you're going to rotate your stick, your analog stick, to pick which one you want. And to start, we got to put down a foundation. So go up to foundation, press the trigger on the right controller, and that'll give you the outline. If it's red, you can't build close to structures, you can't build too close to other people's bases, things like that. But if it's blue, you can build. Once you find where you want to put it, you can put it up, you can put it down, you can adjust it however you want. You're going to press B on the top of your right controller, and that's going to build it. There we go, we got our foundation. Now, we're going to select some walls, and if you want to rotate the walls or any other items that you're building and placing, you can do so with the A button on the right controller. It'll just flip it around. If it can flip, it'll rotate. If it can rotate, if it can't do either one of those things, it won't do anything. So we're going to build our walls. 2, 3, and we're going to switch over to door frame, and we're going to put our door frame in, and then we're going to select floor for our roof, and boom, bada bing, bada boom, we got ourselves our first basic outline of a base. Now, where's the door, you say? What about the door? How am I going to stop people from getting in my base? Well, Well, slow down now. Slow down. You're going to open up your crafting, and you're going to go to wooden door. As long as you got enough wood, you should be fine. And while you're at it, you're going to scroll down. You're going to get a key lock. Again, it's just wood. That's all you need. All right, now that we've crafted our door and our lock, we can put it up in the frame. So if it's not in your toolbox, if it's up here, you're going to grab it. You're going to bring it down to your tool belt. Then you're going to select the door, and any item that can be placed, a lot of time will look like this in a little bag. You're going to hold it in your hand. You're going to press the trigger. It's going to show you the outline. And then once you find a place to put it that you like, you're going to press the build button again, which is B on the top of your controller. There we go. We got a door. If you want to open and close your door, you just want to reach into the door, and you're going to press the trigger. Sometimes it's a little finicky, but you'll get the hang of it. And then to be safe, to make sure that nobody can get into our base, we're going to open up this key lock, press the trigger, put it right there, press the build button. Now this is locked. If you want to unlock it for any reason, if you want your friend to be able to get in your base, whatever it is, you just put your hand right here, you hold the trigger, and you rotate. Locked, unlocked. Locked, unlocked. You get the idea. You can open up your locked door anytime, so you can keep it locked. If it's just you going in and out, just keep it locked. Don't worry about it. The door will still open for you, even if it's locked. Now, one of the most important things, if not the most important thing you need when you build your base, is going to be a tool cupboard. It's this square one right here. It's 1,000 wood to build, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get yourself enough wood to build it. But trust me, it's important. It's going to be the heart of your base. If you have one of these stocked in your base with wood, stone, whatever it is that you need to keep your base replenished, it'll stop your base from degrading. If you don't fill it up, if you don't put one of these in your base will fall apart. It's not a pretty thing. You want to make sure you have one of these. Also, if you're near one of these in your base, you don't use up oxygen. So it's very, very important for you to have one in your personal base. We're going to put it down wherever we can. Boom. And then you can see here, this little tiny shack that I got going, it costs 56 wood per 24 hours just to keep it up to snuff. So we're going to put some wood in there, and it'll be fine. All right, so we have our base, we have our tool cupboard, and you might be saying to yourself, well, 15 negative reviews, my base is made out of twigs. People are going to be able to get in there as soon as they want. That's true. You don't want to leave your base built out of twigs. That's where the hammer comes in. You're going to take out your hammer, you're going to put it over a wall. As you can see, it's only got 10 health. It's only got 10 health as a twig door frame. We don't like that. You're going to put it over your wall, you're going to hold your trigger, and depending on what items you have in your inventory, you'll be able to upgrade it. Right now, I got a bunch of stone, so I'm going to upgrade the stone. I'm going to rotate the analog stick, similar to with building. We're going to go to upgrade with stone, and then we're going to release the trigger. Boom, stone. And we're going to make sure that we get all the way around, including the foundation. Because if they destroy this twig foundation, they'll destroy the whole base. And that is not good. That is not good. We want to make sure that we are 100% covered up, including the roof. Now, you might be saying to yourself, why would I do the roof? They can't possibly reach the roof, right? Wrong. If they have ladders, they can climb up the side of your base. Or if your base is low enough to the ground and there's any sort of incline near it, they can do a double jump. By pressing up on the right analog stick, boom, double jump. They might be able to get to the top of your base. So you just want to be safe. You want to make sure you're covered on all sides with stone. Stone's pretty good. You can upgrade from there. We're not going to worry about that. The next step is metal scraps. But again, we're not going to worry about that because this is a basic tutorial. Okay, last but certainly not least, for base building importance, now that you got your tool cupboard, now that you got your door, now that you got your stone walls, you might even want to do this part first just to make sure, but you're going to need a sleeping bag. How do you make a sleeping bag? You're going to need cloth. How do you get cloth? You're going to need to come to one of these domes. This is one of the possible ways to get cloth. The easiest way that you're going to find cloth initially is to come to one of these domes. The domes look like this on the map. Just big circular domes. You can't miss them. When you come inside, you're going to look for tiny little Christmas trees like this. And then you're going to press the trigger. Boom. You got yourself some cloth. You're going to go around, get as much cloth as you can, and then you're going to make yourself a sleeping bag. When you've crafted yourself a sleeping bag, you're going to put it in your base. That's going to be your respawn point. And you're not limited to just one. If you can afford to make more than one sleeping bag, go ahead and make a couple sleeping bags because you can place them across the map and select your spawn point as you see fit. Okay, the next thing we're going to cover is also very, very important for your initial success in Grim. You're going to look at your wrist. If you hold up your wrist to your face, you're going to see your health at the top, your water in the middle, and at the bottom is going to be your food. If you run out of water or food, you guessed it, you start to die. When you're in a dome like this, the easiest thing to find is going to be these little mushrooms. Once you have these mushrooms, you're going to put them in your tool belt. You're going to grab a mushroom and you're just going to eat it like a glizzy. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to give you not a lot, but enough to keep you going. And they're all over the place. You just look around for mushrooms, you'll enjoy the mushrooms, but you do have to be in a dome. Just so that we skim over it so that you know, this is a barrel. This is where you're going to get salvage from. They come in different colors. This one is red. I believe it's going to have fuel in it. But all you got to do is grab something. You could use your rock. You could use your hatchet, whatever you have. And you're going to break it open. And inside, you're going to find items. I'm not going to cover what these items are. You'll figure it out. Again, this is just a basic tutorial. The next thing we got to cover is oxygen. It's very, very important that you don't run out of oxygen. To cover it again, you're going to open your inventory. You're going to look in the top left, and you're going to see your oxygen, remaining oxygen in seconds in the top left corner. And you don't need to buy a new oxygen tank every single time or take it off of other players. That's what I thought when I first started playing because I just assumed that's how it worked. But if you go to this machine here, they're usually outside of any of the major structures. So any of the domes are going to have them, the fuel station's going to have them, research center, anything that's marked on the map essentially is going to have one of these outside of it. All you got to do is walk up to it. Don't have to click anything, just walk up to it. You'll hear that little oxygen noise, and boom, your oxygen is refreshed. If you want to, you can use these machines by clicking on the trigger, and you can buy either apples or extra oxygen tanks with scrap. Now, what's scrap? We haven't covered scrap. Scrap is found all throughout the world. You're going to find it in barrels like that I showed you earlier. You're going to find it in boxes, and it looks like this. It's essentially your money. You're going to want to save your scrap. You're going to need scrap to build things. You're going to need scrap to buy things. You're going to need scrap to trade if you want to do that. But you're going to want to hold on to this. And if you're wondering what the best way to get scrap is, it's going to be from salvaging items. And this is what you're going to need to find to be able to do that. These are going to be spread out throughout the map. You're going to find them in different locations. Once you find one, it's always going to be there, but be careful because depending on where you are, these could be camped. So just be careful when you approach it. You're going to click on it with your trigger and you're going to put different items in it. If I want scrap, we're going to put metal items in. If I want cloth, we're going to put cloth items in, and you can fill it up with multiple things and it'll go over time. And you just want to turn it on and it'll do its thing. You can look around, you can loot, you can find crates like this, click it with your trigger, get some loot. While you're waiting for it to go, you don't need to be standing right next to it. You could be watching your back, you could be doing whatever you want. And when you finish doing whatever you're doing, go back to the machine and see what you got. Scrap, metal fragments, and cloth. And that varies depending on what you put in it. Again, you'll figure it out. Now, the last thing that I'm going to cover today is how to make a hunting bow. That's going to be the first weapon that you get, and it is very, very powerful early on in the game. You're going to open up your inventory, you're going to go down the hunting bow, you're going to need wood, and you're going to need cloth. We've covered how to get both of those things. We're going to craft it, and we're going to craft a couple of wooden arrows. Now that we have our bow crafted, we can open up our tool belt, grab it with our grip. By default, it's going to put it in our left hand. I believe you can change these in the settings if you're right or left-handed. Don't matter. But if you want an arrow, you're going to reach behind your back as long as you've got arrows in your inventory, and this applies to any ammo in the game. You're going to reach behind your back, you're going to pull trigger, and you're going to bring it forward, and you got whatever it is, the ammo type of the weapon that you're holding will come out. If you're holding trigger and you reach behind your back and you pull forward, you're going to just put it there, pull it back, fire. And you can just do the same thing to get your arrows in there. Pro tip, if you miss, or if you hit, or if you hit where you're hitting, you can actually pick your arrows back up. So imagine that this is somebody's brains. You can just go over, pick your arrows right back up, put them over your shoulder just like you would any other item, and it'll go back in the inventory to be used again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that should be everything you need to know to initially get started in Grim and hit the ground running on the next wipe. If you have any questions, drop a comment below, I'll try to address them. Or if you want to see a part 2 where I go over a little more advanced mechanics, drop a comment below, let me know that you want to see that. Have a great day, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.